Now we'll talk about something fun and dramatic. Angelica sinensis. Angelica sinensis, or dongui, is a very popular herb. Some people call it woman's ginseng. It hurts me to say that. Anyway, instead of going into too many stories about dongui, those are more pretty pictures of the flowers. They're lovely when they're going into flower. Again, with this item, it is recommended that you cut off the flower heads as soon as they appear on the plant if you're going to harvest it. And again, we see our friend Shen Nong. So dongui also appears first in the Shenang Bensao Jing, and it's described as such. It treats counterflow cough with a scent of qi, warm malaria, cold and heat with shivering inside the skin, vaginal leaking and interrupted childbearing in women, all sorts of malign sores and festering ulcers and incised wounds. Decoct and drink it. It grows in river valleys. So dongui, the first use of dongui in Chinese medicine appears in the Shanghan Lun in the Han Dynasty around 200 AD. Archetypical formulas being one called dongui sini tong, which is Angelica sinensis for cold extremities. This could be seen as a circulatory problem. On the other hand, we have another famous formula from the Han Dynasty called dongui xiaosan. Dongui xiaosan is for abdominal pain in women during pregnancy. And this is a book, image from the Fukusho Kuren, which is a Japanese book on abdominal diagnosis for Chinese formulas. This is one of the abdominal patterns that you would look for where there's pain and blood stasis and palpable masses around the umbilicus in those locations. Just to give you an idea about how we diagnose these things, there's a pulse, there's a set of symptoms, there's findings on the limbs, and there's findings on the abdomen. So my next person here is Tao Hong Jing. Tao Hong Jing is the first person to talk about where dongui would be found in high quality in the historical literature. This is about 500 AD, and he is saying that dongui grows in the valleys of Gansu and Sichuan province. And he actually mentions Longxi County, which is Dingxi County, Gansu, which is still to this day, 1,500 years later, the Daodi region for Gansu, for dongui. This is the material that is grown there. So, in the words of Jin Shiyuan in the 21st century, he says, "Thus it can be seen then and now dongui's main production regions and curative effect are inextricably related and have always been the same." So we look and we see the major production regions are primarily in Gansu, in southern Gansu. Gansu province is here, and the southern portion is going to be right around here where Mingxi County is. Also, it spreads into other parts of Sichuan province, which have similar climatic conditions. It looks like what I imagine Narnia looks like. So it's believed that Minyan County in Gansu is the Daodi region of Angelica sinensis. So the general situation in the production region. Yeah, Angelica sinensis is an alpine plant. 1,500 to 3,000 meters. Yeah. Think out, it's where you need to grow them might be not the same as where it's easy to grow them. A moist, pleasantly cool microclimate of a high mountain area. The soil should be fertile, deep, loose, and well drained. And it's described as being a sandy-natured soil with content high of arenaceous humus loam. We'll look at that in more detail in a second. So this is Minyan County is down here in South Gansu, and the growing region extends along a mountain range known as the Binshan Mountain Range. So Binshan falls within the warm temperate zone.
Do you know if they have summer rain?
Excuse me?
Summer rain?
I do not think so.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So one of the major things they have there is this particular type of soil, trinosium, which is this type of arenaceous loam, which is sandy, has a lot of humus in it and has some clay. This is the outstanding feature of this region, actually, is the soil. This Chernosium is located in very rare parts of the globe. And we can possibly hypothesize that this is that actual location in this area where Gansu is, in Minyan County. So the elevation and the soil is going to be a huge factor. The elevation is above 7,000 feet. The high temperature and the low temperature is a factor. And then the soil composition. A lot of humus, phosphoric acid, that's why it's colored black. So, yeah. There's a phrase in China that says, what it says right there. It says, "Qian qian tui zi huo shan wang." And I apologize to everybody in the audience who actually speaks Chinese and knows how badly I just butchered that phrase. Because I'm tone deaf. That's what that is saying, is that in front of the mountain, it's a henchman, and behind the mountain, you're a king. This is describing the quality of Angelica sinensis grown in the Daodi region of Binshan County. The difference is elevation and sun and temperature. In front of the mountain is a few thousand feet lower, and it gets a lot more sun, and the soil is not quite the same. And so just because of those small differences, you have this phrase, which is hundreds of years old, disparaging the quality of the stuff that grows on the wrong side of the mountain.
It does describe like Salt Lake Valley,
Yeah.
and then you go up the valley and you're in Park City, and it's, it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's very, very interesting. It's actually interesting. You can find pictures on the internet somewhere where Minyan County is called Dongui City, and you just see the whole city seems to be involved in the process of harvesting and processing Dongui. So, Dongui cultivation. Seed propagation is most common. Some things to consider. In this book I have over here called the Baiyao Zaipei, this is a good book that's been recently published. It's in Chinese, but it means cultivation of all the great medicinals. Dr. Zhao has published that book. Dr. Zhao is amazing. So in Gansu, they're going to put the seeds in the ground in the last 10 days of June, which sounds crazy to me, but that's how they're doing it there apparently. And then pulling those seedlings out in August, and then not actually transplanting them until the next spring, before the Qingming festival. So we have some other differences, which we'll see. Instead of transplanting in spring, you can transplant in winter around these particular seasonal nodes before cold dew, or after cold dew or before frost descent. And it's believed that that'll be a higher quality medicinal, although I've never grown it that way. So field management, fields in Gansu of Dongui. When we are, the seedlings prefer shade. They can get damaged by scorching heat, so it's common to, when you place the seedlings in the field, to cover them with something. Or if you're direct sowing, to cover the seeds with something until after the seedlings have emerged, and then we'll remove the covers, probably a hay cover. After removing the covers, you can do a little bit of intertilling and loosen up the soil and remove weeds, and thin out the seedlings, use a little bit of fertilizer, and again, you'll remove the floral access at the right time.